Ed Soppy joining us this morning, as I told you he would, and he's making a special appearance for us today. He's been booked up every morning, and we tried to get him on last Friday, but he was booked that day completely. And of course, we promised that we would get him back on for the NFL draft, which is tomorrow night. And you're going to the draft party
in Cleveland
tomorrow, right? Mm-hmm. So that looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's usually held in the stadium, in the club section, and because of the renovations going on at the stadium, they evidently rented or booked or whatever the convention center downtown.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand it's sold out in 24 hours.
Is that right?
Yeah. So it's going to be packed there.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going.
Well, they have big screens and all that stuff that
you know. I've never been at the convention center for one of these, so I don't know what to expect. I'm assuming.
I would assume they would.
The email that I got from the Cleveland Browns said you're going to see the hugest screen you've ever seen at the convention center for the draft. But I'm going with Chet Arcaro, Dennis Niger, and Timmy Richards. Good. So it should be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Chet and Timmy and I have gone the last 3 years to the stadium to watch it all unfold, and so it'll be different down at the convention center.
Well, the number one question, of course, is who do the Browns do? Who do they take at number 4, or do they trade?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
So the questions to you are: if you were in charge, 2 questions. If you were in charge, who would you pick? And number 2, who do you think they will pick?
Oh, you're going to make it tough, huh?
Oh yeah.
This is a tough draft.
It is.
Yeah.
Go ahead. If you were in charge, who would you pick?
If I was in charge, I would pick Sammy Watkins.
If he's still there.
If he's still there.
If he's still there. Right.
If he's not there, then you have a couple of options. You could trade down, but you have to have a trade down partner. Somebody's got to want to move to your spot.
Right.
And I think that's going to happen with number 2.
Why would they want to trade down? Can you explain that?
Well, let's say that they have Sammy Watkins and Khalil Mack as their number 1, 2, 1A, 1A. Mack's gone, Watkins is gone. Now, the guy you thought is not there now. So let's move down, pick up another pick. We're still going to get a top-notch player at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're still going to get a frontline player, and you're going to pick up another draft pick, maybe in the 2nd or 3rd round.
Okay. I was amazed at a comment that Mac, the Denver general manager,
John Elway.
He made a comment yesterday or a couple days ago that I thought was strange. He goes, "We're very happy and thrilled to be number 31, but we'd rather be 32." Why would he say something like that? Why would you want to be later?
Unless he meant that if they were 32, that meant that they won the Super Bowl. Could that possibly be it?
That sure could
Maybe
be.
That's what he meant, that they would have been a Super Bowl winner.
They never explained that.
Yeah, I think that had to be it.
Hi, you're on the air.
Yeah, you're not. You're on Time Warner, you're not coming across the air.
Yeah, you have to have, apparently Time Warner, with them now, you have to have a digital converter to pick up channel 19. That's the problem. So they're blacking you out.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, because I just woke up and there was nothing here.
Yeah, that's why. That's why.
All right, very good.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Put on the radio.
Yeah, we're on the radio, so you can pick it up on the radio.
You know, I heard that through the grapevine that numbers 31 and 32 are willing to trade back and pick up somebody and pick up an extra pick in the 2nd or 3rd round. Mm-hmm. Number 1, cost. Mm-hmm. I mean, you pick somebody in the 1st round, it's going to cost you a little more than it's going to cost, about $500,000 more.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
To pick somebody in the second round, so that's also a possibility. But I think that all the trade, and supposedly Houston is being talked about trading out of the 1st pick. I don't know why they'd want to do that.
I don't see them doing that.
I don't know why they'd want to do it.
Right.
Now, why would they?
They're going to get their guy, their person in line. St. Louis, another situation. St. Louis has a number 2 pick, and there could be somebody that wants to jump up. They're a perfect trade partner because they traded quite a bit last year. Mm-hmm. So they're kind of a trade. But my guy is Sammy Watkins. St. Louis could take Sammy Watkins. Jacksonville could take Sammy Watkins. And the question is, somebody asked me the other day, well, what if Watkins is there and the Browns don't take him? Well, then they weren't as high on him as I was. They may think that they've fixed their wide receiver offensive situation with Gordon. They picked up Hawkins in free agency. They've got Burleson in free agency. They have Cameron Jordan, the tight end. They've got Tate or Lewis coming out of the backfield. And who on the outside? I don't know. Unless they're going to pick up a wide receiver at 26 or at 35.
They're talking Mike Evans.
I can't believe that let's face it, it's a passing league. You got to have the wide receivers and a quarterback. But if they had Watkins and the other guy,
Gordon.
Josh Gordon. I mean, two superior wide receivers, and they have a decent quarterback in Hoyer. I can't believe that the Browns wouldn't, if he's available, they wouldn't take him, and then take a quarterback in the.
At 26.
And Jacksonville needs a quarterback. Why would they take Watkins? They need a quarterback.
See, I'm one of the
St.
very
Louis,
few.
and then the rumor is that St. Louis wants a quarterback, and they have Matt.
Look at this.
Bradford or Sam Bradford.
I wrote these down last night.
I don't get it.
I wrote these down last night. These are mock drafts.
Right.
And you can find them all over the
And
internet.
they're all
There's
usually
100 of
wrong.
them.
Usually wrong.
You look at Jacksonville here. They've got Watkins from our lads. You've got John Paul Football. That's Johnny Manziel. I call him John Paul Football.
John Paul.
That's from my son Eric. They say they're going to take him. Atlanta says Mac. Atlanta. No, this is the third pick in the draft is Jacksonville, and SB Nation says they're going to trade with Atlanta, and Atlanta's going to jump up and get Mac. John Paul Football from Pro Football Guide. Okay, and you've got Bridgewater. Why Bridgewater? I don't know. Mac, Watkins.
Well, what number is that?
That's the third pick in the draft. Jacksonville.
All right, here, let me throw this in your head. Jacksonville, like Steve says, needs a quarterback. They need to get people in their stands.
You're exactly right.
And that's why I thought maybe they would jump on Manziel, because he's national attention.
I think so too. I think so
Put people
too.
in the stands.
My son Eric, who follows this a lot more than I do, he says no way are they going to take Johnny Football. They're probably, if he's available, they're going to take Watkins because they missed on, was it Blackman?
Yeah, he's a loser.
We wanted him, and he went.
He's not playing the rest of the year.
No, and he's had a lot of problems off field, etc. But I think, just like you do, Jacksonville can't put people in the stands. They're going to Europe to play a couple of games to get money or to get a lot of fans. You get Johnny Manziel down in Jacksonville, and that's going to stir buzz, and people are going to rush to start getting their season tickets.
Also,
they want to be there for Johnny Manziel.
They'll also start getting television coverage.
Oh, sure.
Manziel's automatic. That's another reason they're hinting that Haslam would like to have Manziel, because it would bring some major national coverage to the Browns that we have lacked.
Yes. It's not going to put.
But that doesn't mean anything.
It's not going to put people in the seats though. Cleveland sells out all the time anyway.
Right.
It's irrelevant.
The only thing it would do is if there's a lot of, and there seems to be quite a few Johnny Manziel fans out there in the Cleveland area, they'll go to the games rather than sell their tickets. Because when you go to a game like in the middle to the end of the season, the Browns haven't done well, you'll see more Pittsburgh Steelers, terrible towels.
Oh yeah, it happened last year.
Buffalo.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll see all those people because
That's true.
they're selling their tickets because they don't want to go.
Now,
But,
Manziel stated originally he wanted to, he's a Texas guy, he wants to go to Houston.
Yes.
Houston needs a quarterback.
Yeah, Houston needs a quarterback.
But Houston, in the beginning, were high on Bridgewater.
Yes.
They wanted to take him.
And Bridgewater has fallen.
We pretty much rubbed number 4 into the ground here the last few minutes.
Well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I don't think you answered the second question.
The second question.
Who do you think the Browns will pick?
Okay. When I do my mock draft for the Browns, I always put who I think they should draft.
Right.
Okay. I think they like Watkins. They're not sure if he's going to be there. And I also think they like Khalil Mack. And he may not be there. So there's a possibility then that maybe they will try to trade back. I'm hoping that they don't take Johnny Manziel. I'm not a Johnny Manziel fan. I know Cleveland needs a quarterback because I've had people say, well, what do you want him to take Watkins for? You got to have somebody to be able to throw the ball to Watkins. Well, we do have Hoyer, who, and I know that he only played 2.5 games last year, okay? Cleveland seems to love backup quarterbacks anyway. But
True.
they're going to have to take a quarterback in this draft. I just don't want it to be at number 4 because I don't think a rookie quarterback would start for Cleveland this season. Even though if he's the number 4 pick, they might
Right.
work the competition in his favor.
He's not going to make an impact.
Right.
Right away.
You
That's
need
what
an
they-
impact player at
Exactly.
number 4.
Exactly.
So who are the impact players? Clowney, Watkins, Khalil Mack. I hate to say this is a pretty dull pick, but Greg Robinson, Jake Matthews.
The offensive lineman.
Those are terrific. And you get Matthews, Robinson, you put him over at the right tackle spot. He plays the right tackle spot, and then you've got your guy to slide into Joe Thomas's spot when Joe Thomas retires.
The only problem with Clowney, 3 sacks,
3 sacks and only 11 tackles for loss last year.
and they say he goofs off.
And he took the year off, is what they said, and he didn't want to get hurt. So, is that really the kind of a guy you want?
No.
It's not the kind of a guy I want. He may be the next Lawrence Taylor, who knows? But his production last year was way off. And I don't know if that's because, okay, we know this guy from last year, and we're going to double team him this year. He's not going to get as much.
Right.
That's possible.
Major risk for a top 10 pick.
Another
Whoever
thing that
takes him.
about Manziel, Ed, is the minute Hoyer throws an interception,
Oh, yes.
they're going to be cheering for Manziel to come in the game. And I'm like you, he's going to get hurt. He's a recipe to get hurt, and he's not that big of a guy. He runs too much. He doesn't stay in the pocket. So I have a problem with Manziel as well. Then I was kind of a fan of Bortles, but then I don't know if it was you that told me that Bortles is not really ready yet. But maybe that's okay if we're going to keep him on the sidelines with the
Clipboard. Learning that, yeah, and I wouldn't mind Bortles either at 26 or 30.
He's bigger than Bridgewater, and they say he's got a good arm.
He reminds me of Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
In our division, that might be
Right.
a nice,
Right.
but they're saying that these 3 names, Manziel, Bortles,
Bridgewater.
are not the Andrew Luck's of the
yeah.
quarterbacks.
Nobody is.
Luck was like
in this one.
He was just a guy that was ready to step right in. These
He
guys
did.
are not those kind of football players, I don't think. Manziel's a runner, like you said. Teddy Bridgewater doesn't run very much, but he's a pretty accurate passer. Even though his pro day, his stock slid after his pro
Big
day,
time.
big time. But I listened to Bernie Kosar, Jim Brown, and Dan Marino. Who do they like? They like Teddy Bridgewater.
Really?
And they said they've been watching him since high school. And this kid's going to be a star in the NFL. Even though he doesn't have very big hands, he can run if he wants to. He chooses not to. He chooses to sit in the pocket and look at his number 1, number 2, number 3. He can scan the field. That's what I think Cleveland wants.
And Pluto said that, in his opinion, this is just Pluto's opinion, that he thought of all the quarterbacks, he thought Bridgewater was the most pro-ready.
Yes. Yes.
What about McCarron's Ed? He's very, very rarely
No one
talked
talks about him. Yeah.
And also Garoppolo. Is it
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Garoppolo?
He supposedly has a strong arm. And
Yeah.
these are they're part of the second tier of quarterbacks after your top 4. And I'm throwing Derek Carr in there.
I was just going to mention
Bridgewater, Manziel, Bortles, Carr. And then you have Garoppolo, Savage, McCarron, Wenning, Murray, Metzenberger, all those guys, second guys that you can pick up from 2 to 5, 2 to 4, right in that range. And that's what I'm hoping Cleveland does. I hope they take on. We have a golden opportunity this year. We pick 4th, 26th, and 35th. to pick 3 impact players. Now let's get at least 2 impact players, and then maybe take hopefully your future quarterback at number 35. That's what I think they should do. I mean, you do have an opportunity to pick up 3 starters if you choose to go that route, and wait until the 3rd round to get your quarterback. Because I think they're going to take a quarterback next year too.
You know what scares me is that they wait too long, and then everybody that's good gets picked over.
Yeah, you know, I have a concern too about Ray Farmer. I like him, I respect him. He's certainly a good, but he has no experience in a draft. And that has a lot to do with sometimes, don't you think, agree, Ed,
Yeah.
successful picks?
But that's why he brought in Zaharias, who was a general manager, has had experience as the guy that pulls the plug
Right, because he's
on
going
the
to
player.
He's going to need
So
some
he's going to
assistance.
need some assistance. But Ray Farmer was a director of player personnel for Kansas City for years. He's been in the draft room. He's been out scouting all these players. He knows these players. He was scouting them last year. So he's got a real working knowledge of who these guys are. The question is, who's available for them at number 4?
Yeah, that's the big question.
And I think he knows who he wants if he's there. And if his 1 or 2 players are gone, and let's face it, there's 3 impact players are going to be picked ahead of them. Both of them could be the 2 guys he likes. And if that's the case, he's liable to want to try to find a trade down partner, or he'll take his 3rd best player. I think the key in the draft is number 2. I think St. Louis Rams are the key, because they could trade down, and which would I would like them to trade down if the team that wants to come up wants to pick Johnny Manziel, because then he won't be on the board at 4 when we pick. See,
They say St. Louis wants a quarterback. I don't think I just have this hunch that they like Sammy Watkins.
they want Watkins
because they got
Yes.
their quarterback.
Exactly
Bradford.
right.
And I think they want.
And I think
Watkins.
they are going to take a quarterback, but it's going to be later.
Yeah, later.
Just like I hope we do.
Right.
Because they could use a quarterback for. They're not quite sure that their quarterback, and his name escapes me. He's had like 4 or 5 years, and he just hasn't. It's like Dalton for the Bengals.
Oh yeah, Andy Dalton.
Andy
Yeah.
Dalton. He's
Yeah.
not quite the guy.
No.
He's not there.
No.
And I think they feel the same way about the Brett. Is that Brett?
You're talking about St. Louis?
Yes.
Bradford. Yes.
Bradford.
Sam Bradford.
Sam Bradford.
Yeah.
I think they're a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time that we bring somebody in for him. So, but I think this draft, if they stay at number 2, I think Watkins will be their
think
guy,
so, too.
and which will really hurt me because that's who I want.
Let's say that happens. Who do the Browns go after? then?
Khalil Mack,
The linebacker.
no, from Buffalo.
From Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about Evans as a pass catcher?
Mike Evans. He's the next guy on the board after Watkins. But I don't think Cleveland would take him at 4. That's why they would want to slide down 7, 8, 9, 10, because that's where Evans probably should be picked.
Yeah, I agree. I think they like him, but not at 4.
No.
When they could get a Mac.
Yes.
Or somebody.
Yeah,
I
because
like Mac.
he's more of an impact player.
Yeah.
There's a lot of feeling out there that Mac and Clowney are on an even keel. That Clowney's not head and shoulders above Khalil
Right.
Mack. They're pretty even. Some mock drafts I saw had Khalil Mack going to the Texans. So
This is the
this is the most confusing
It
draft
is.
I remember in a long, long time. Because
is.
by now I would have known. Okay, here's who Cleveland's taking. Here's who they're going to take. You don't know that now.
They said in 30 years, it's never been
There's
like.
so many options, so many scenarios that could play out. Wow. Yeah.
Hey, let's go to running back.
Okay.
First, let me take a commercial break because I have some things I want to read to you here. But I want to go to running back, and I'm surprised a little bit. Carlos Hyde is not on the top of the list. He's deep into the draft.
I don't think teams want to pick a running back anymore in
I
the
agree.
first, second
I agree.
round.
Look what we did.
Yeah, except the Browns.
Hyde's the number
But-
1 or 2 running back in the draft.
Right.
He's ranked number 1 or number
But
2.
there's another one they had yesterday, the poor man's Carlos Hyde, and he was just as big and just as good, and I can't remember. He was from Toledo. There's a big article on him that he was possibly the second coming of Carlos Hyde. Now you had Carlos Hyde listed at 40.
Yeah, he was the 44th best athlete based on wherever the plain dealer gets their rankings.
Yeah.
But as I said, Mike Mayock on NFL Network has Carlos Hyde ranked the second best running back in this draft. Bishop Sankey is number one. And I think he's out of Washington. So they're pretty close, but I don't see the NFL does not see the running back position as the key position in football anymore because it's such a throwing league.
Right.
They throw the ball more, so offensive linemen become important, quarterbacks become important, wide receivers become important, running backs are a little bit down the road. A couple of years ago, was it last year or the year before last? I really wanted Trent Richardson. I thought this guy's going to be great.
Yeah.
And I wanted him bad, and he just did not do in pros what he did in college. Last year I picked Mingo. Mingo was the guy I wanted. I think Mingo's fine. He didn't have the superstar. I mean, he did have 5.5, I think five and a half sacks for a young kid who didn't play all the time. So I think they're okay there. The thing about Mack that worries me about Mack is, Khalil Mack we're talking about, is he's an outside pass rusher. Is Cleveland going to keep him as an outside pass rusher if they take him, or are they going to move him inside? I think he'd be less effective inside. But who do you already have? You've got Mingo, you've got Kruger, you've got Quentin Groves, you've got the other linebacker, Carlos Dansby. I think he's a middle linebacker. You got Jabal Shurd. You've got 4 pass rushers already, and now you're bringing Khalil Mack. Does he have to work his way into the starting role, or is he going to learn behind somebody?
I doubt it. I think the Browns. I think the Browns are really, really high on Mack.
If he makes,
and I think they see him as a starter.
Yeah, I do too. And he's from Buffalo. He went to the University of Buffalo. Where did Mike Pettin coach last year? He coached at Buffalo.
He watched him a lot.
He knows him.
And he knows him well, and I think he may be, in his mind, over Watkins. In Pettin's mind. Pettin's not making the call. He's not making the pick.
Right.
Farmer's going to make the pick. Now, I heard a story yesterday that said Jimmy Haslam's going to tell Farmer who he's going to pick. Now,
He denies that.
I know he does, and which he should. I mean, the owner doesn't need to be getting involved in saying, "This is the guy we're taking."
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones.
Jerry.
But Farmer's got to make the pick, and they were saying that Haslam's going to tell Farmer, "You need to pick Johnny Manziel because I love him, and he's going to be great. And he's going to put people in the seats, and he's going to bring, like you said, the media to Cleveland." I don't see that happen.
I don't either.
I don't think he's that much of a meddler. It's going to be Farmer. He hired Farmer to do this job. He fired 2 guys to put. He said he's ready for this. Okay, if he's ready, let him make the pick because he's going to live or die with this draft.
I like Farmer.
I respect him.
I do too.
I respect him. And like you said, he may lack experience in a draft, but he has been in draft scenes, and he hired. He's got the assistant in. Zaharis. So I trust him.
Who was in Kansas City and.
So there's experience.
Saints. So he's got experience.
Right.
I would love to be a fly on the wall in the draft.
Oh, so would I.
Love to be sitting there watching.
Will they take? And they certainly needed it last year, and I was a little disappointed in that regime, not identifying the running game. I mean, it stunk. It really did. And no big news, but McGahee's gone. I mean, obviously, he's not going to be back with them.
That was just
Is Ben Tate a good acquisition?
He can be if he stays healthy.
Right.
Because they said he played in Arian Foster's shadow in Houston. And they were just, when Foster went down, Tate come in and Tate did just as good as Foster did.
Yeah.
So he can be good. And that's why he left Houston and decided to come to Cleveland because he saw the opportunity of being the feature back. And he says, I can be the feature back. Well, he's going to get a chance to prove it. But he's got to stay healthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're going to get a chance to see Deion Lewis this year, who we didn't see last year because he broke his leg.
Yeah.
Who supposedly is a great coming out of the backfield on 3rd down. And we don't know. Because he hasn't played.
He looked good in preseason before he got hurt.
Yes, and he was good when he was with Philadelphia.
Yeah, oh yeah. They also have a bona fide fullback in Presley.
Yes, they brought in. I was glad to see that. Yeah, I was glad to see that. They needed a real, not an H-back, not a tight end pretending to be a
Obadiah.
Yeah, so you finally got a real fullback
who can
to
block.
help. Yeah, who can block.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like that. I like the moves the Browns made. I saw your buddy Chuck Guglielmo. I saw him at church one fish fry night,
yeah.
and he asked me. He says, "What do you think about these guys that Farmer and Penton are bringing in?" And I says, I said they're refreshing. And he says, "Oh wow, what a great word." I said they're refreshing compared to what we've had in the past, because they've targeted people and convinced those guys we're making a turnaround. That's why in Cleveland, the philosophy in Berea is win now. They think that Cleveland was fairly close in a lot of games last year. We lost by 3 points, 4 points, 7 points, quite a few games. So we were almost there. So they go out and sign a Whitner, who they say is Hitner, because he's
I like that.
big hits.
I like that.
Carlos Dansby,
Yes.
which was a really good pick. They say you're going to be surprised with this tight end that they brought in from the Arizona Cardinals, Dre. You're going to be surprised with him. He's not only an excellent blocker, but he can catch passes too, to play opposite of Cameron Jordan. Their offense could be really something, and I think with Sammy Watkins, you'd have one of the best offenses.
Yeah, and there's a sense of urgency, obviously, in Cleveland. You know what concerns me? What do you think of this? You know, I think the Browns will draft some. I think they'll have a good draft. I really do. I like this regime. I agree with you. They're refreshing. I think they're. But along with, you know, you got to consider it's all relative to the other teams and who they draft. Everyone's going to get better, especially the teams in our division. So they're all going to get better. We're still at 5-11. They're getting better. We could get better too and still go 5-11. You know, 6-10. What's going to change that?
We've missed in the draft for a number of years.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, this is
Killed us.
I think I read earlier where
Killed us.
we've taken 3 quarterbacks. I mean, we've been in the top 10 picks for 11 years.
Yes.
And we've picked horrible. We picked Brady Quinn in the first round.
I never liked him in college.
We took him. We took Brandon Weeden, which the quarterback guru Mike Holmgren. Boy, what a blowout that was! I mean,
If you believe what you read in the papers, and I don't, sometimes they think in Dallas that Brandon Weeden is the quarterback of the future.
I know.
And I go, what?
And I'm thinking,
Jimmy Jones has got to be crazy. Well,
I'm thinking what future? He's 31 years old.
That's right. What future?
And they just gave Romo a big $50 million contract or something, but he had back surgery.
Right.
And there's speculation out there that Jerry Jones really likes Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, that's
But
been
can he
mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
move up high enough to be able to get him? And Cleveland could be a trading partner, but I don't think they want to trade all the way down to 20. And I think Dallas picks at
Yeah, they're low.
17.
Yeah.
That's too far to fall, I think, to get one of the impact players they want. So Cleveland does need, and I don't want to make it sound kind of immaterial, but they do need to draft a quarterback someplace. I just don't think it should be at the first pick.
I agree.
Of course, we got to get to this question that Steve and I do every year about this time, even though it's a little early. But do you see, and you just sounded like you do, an improvement with this 4 and 5 win seasons they've been having? Or they start out with Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They have a brutal
They
schedule.
have a terrible
They
schedule.
have a brutal schedule.
Well, supposedly their schedule
another
is the
thing.
26th toughest schedule in the NFL. 26. Of course, they go on how many playoff teams are playing. Okay. Now, Mike Pettin, he says it couldn't get any better than this. First year head coach. First game of the season, we travel to Pittsburgh. He says
I know, he had a good attitude about it.
that's he
Well,
says, it
he
couldn't
knows-
be better than that. He says
knows
that's
the
where you
rivalry.
want to go.
He knows the rivalry.
That's right. And
It's still brutal. The schedule.
but I'm not sure. How good is Pittsburgh going to be?
It's true.
I mean,
When did they pick?
where they
What's their
picked,
first pick?
I just saw their name here. 15th.
15th.
They picked 15th. And I don't know. I only did the top 10 in the draft. This book here said they were going to take Cyrus Kwanjo, who is an offensive tackle from Alabama.
Cartoon character.
But
A movie.
I had heard earlier that they liked Shazier from Ohio State. They do take Ohio State players in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, we know.
Cleveland, not very often.
Yeah.
But they like Ryan. I like Ryan Shazier too. I think he's small, but I think he is devastating tackler.
Let's put it
and
this
he's
way.
all over the field.
They don't usually go wrong on their picks.
No.
Pittsburgh.
No.
I mean, they always have talented
No.
players, and it's proven fact. I mean, players that we probably should have looked at, they get.
Well, I can't stand Pittsburgh. You know, none of us can, but I really admire the organization because they have drafted well for years and years and
Oh,
years.
yeah.
Not only in the first round, the second, third, fourth, later rounds, they just come up with these names and players.
Yes.
And I admire that. They have some bright people in the
Well,
front office.
they have a stable front office.
That's what it is. It's
and,
stable.
and
Been around
and,
for years.
scouts that have been with them a long, long time.
Yeah.
And they have a philosophy. They follow that philosophy, and that's what Jimmy Haslam says. He wants to get like Pittsburgh. He wants to have a steady front office. Of course, he's got to quit firing guys, but he wants to have steady people. He wants them to be there for a long time and have a top-notch front office. And
Yeah.
this could be the start. Let's hope. You know, we hope and pray every single time we have a regime change. Oh boy, Mike Holmgren. Boy, you can't get better than him. He was terrible.
Yeah, he was.
He was terrible.
And,
And
and Baltimore picks Ozzie Newsome, and look what he's done.
yeah,
And then Holmgren comes out. I really wanted to coach.
yeah.
Yeah.
Lerner would have let him coach.
Hi, you're on the air.
Morning, Matt. How are you?
Good, Mark.
Good. How you doing, Mr. Soppy?
Mark, how you doing?
Pretty good, buddy. How you doing?
Fine. Living the dream.
Yeah. Cleveland looks. I'm very impressed with their picks that they have. And I've said it every year. If they lose their home games, then and I said it every year, and it comes true. They don't have a good record when they lose at home. Now this year, I think that they have a road game. They got to start winning road games.
Yeah, their opener this year is not at home for the first time in 11 years. We're
Yeah.
traveling to Pittsburgh. That's the opener. The home opener is the following week against the New Orleans Saints, another tough team.
Yeah.
And then the third game is at home, I think, against the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
So the first three games are going to pretty much set the tone for the rest of the season.
Yes, I've seen their schedule, and it's brutal.
You know, and Mark, you told me, and I quoted you on this the other day. You told me you would almost be able to tell in the first game if they have improved or not.
Yep.
And unfortunately, they're playing a team that could knock them around a little bit. We'll have to wait and see. But when I saw that schedule, it's like, geez, they got a cloud over their head.
Well, we did beat Pittsburgh once last year, didn't we?
Yeah.
We
I think
split.
we did.
We split with them, and we split with Cincinnati. It was it Baltimore that we lost both games.
Yes.
Yeah. So with a split with Pittsburgh, now at least you're going to go into Pittsburgh with, your defense was fairly good last year. I'm hoping it's going to be better this year. And the key to Pittsburgh is stopping the quarterback, Roethlisberger. So
And he's always tough against
Yeah,
the
he's
Browns.
always tough.
Always.
And I told Pat the other day when I called, I said, I am very impressed with what the Browns have come this year. I think that they're going to make the playoffs this year. I really do.
well, that's the feeling in Cleveland is if you listen to WKNR, they're talking about Tony Rizzo says he would like a certain player, but if they take whoever they take, he's going to be in with. It's time to change the culture in Cleveland, get behind the team, cheer loud, and help the team. And this will be the year of the turnaround. So that's the feeling a lot of people have in Cleveland is the turnaround begins this year.
Well, I hope that they do something this year. I really do.
So do
because,
I.
all these fans are paying good money to watch these players. They make good
Oh, we
money,
have.
and you got to have a winning team, and Cleveland should have a winning team this year.
And we certainly are hoping so, Mark.
So, but you guys look good in a San Francisco coat. Have a good day, John.
You
Okay,
too, Mark.
thanks,
Thank you.
Mark.
Bye-bye.
Speaking of San Francisco, Mike Lombardi almost pulled off the trade of the year.
What do you mean?
Well, he was making a deal with San Francisco 49ers to get Jim Harbaugh to coach in Cleveland.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Yeah.
true story.
Well, Harbaugh says that's over-exaggerated.
It may be over-exaggerated, but
Well.
Jim Nantz was interviewed the other day, and he's very close friends with Mike Lombardi. That was almost a done deal, because,
That would have been stupid.
well, that's what happened to Bill Belichick. That's how he got in New England. They made a trade,
Yeah.
a couple of draft picks to move him up to New England. Look what happened in New England.
Yeah.
Harbaugh does not get along with the general manager in San
I don't know
Francisco.
if he gets along with anybody.
No.
He's got a bad...
He's arrogant.
Very arrogant.
But he's turned that team into
That's right. Then that's the key.
to a contender. That's the key.
I think Pettin can do it.
I hope
I
so.
hope so.
I hope so.
Hi, you're on the air.
Yeah,
Yes.
you talked about the Brownies.
Yeah.
You know, I used to root for the Browns when it was in 1988.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
when they played Denver.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Why don't we remember that?
And I'm not a Browns fan anymore. And I don't like Browns.
Who do you like now,
It's the
Joe?
Bills.
I like the Bills.
Oh, yeah.
The Bills are bums too, Joe. So
Hey,
you went from one bad team to another one.
Well, you know, the coach that the Cleveland Browns have coached for Buffalo last year,
Yeah, Patton.
Mike Pettin.
yeah,
So maybe you ought to come back to the Browns now.
Yeah.
no,
this will be the year.
Back to the Browns.
This will be the year. You want to come back?
The,
I don't know whether the Bills will have improved that much yet. I mean, maybe they will.
No, they're bums.
Oh, well, you don't be rude.
No,
I'm just saying
they're
that's
not
a kid
bums.
show.
They're not bums. I mean,
all right, I'll get you guys later.
okay.
Hey, Joe, thanks.
Well, yeah, they beat the Browns last year, or didn't they?
No,
Or the year before?
that was the game that we knocked E.J. Manuel out of the
Right.
game, and they knocked Brian Hoyer out of the game.
Right.
That
And
was
we
last
won
year.
that game.
That was last year.
Yeah.
That's right.
And we won that game.
Yeah.
Also, there was a game that we played with Buffalo that it looked like the field goal missed on camera, and they beat us, I think, in the last...
You're going back to the Denver game when Rich Carlos kicked that ball. I still say that ball
I still
didn't
say
make
that
it.
ball didn't.
Oh,
I
yeah.
still say that ball didn't make
Yeah,
it.
I know. That goes back to that
I
game,
agree.
too. And guess what? There's a girl from Conneaut that dated Rich Carlos
Oh, really?
before he became a Denver Bronco, and Pyle girl, Terry Pyle.
Oh, okay.
And she met him. They were at camp. There was a camp going on, and she met this young boy. And he told her that one day he wanted to be a football player. Well, it turned out to be Rich Carlos, who beat us
Yeah,
in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
I still think I agree. I don't think he.
I don't.
That sure didn't look good to me.
No, I don't.
Remember?
Well, it's hard to tell with camera angles.
Yeah,
I know, but it was right behind. I mean, it was just you were looking.
The
straight
Buffalo,
at
the
him.
same thing. It did not look like it went through the
Well, look what they're
upright.
doing now. You're going to kick the extra point from 30, 35
Yeah.
yards.
Yeah, I know because they're so automatic.
It's like a
Wow.
kickoff.
Oh, my goodness.
Unbelievable.
Really making some changes. Really making some.
Yeah.
Actually,
really.
maybe a little bit too much.
I think
Yeah.
that's a little bit too much.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
yeah.
All right, we'll take one more phone call. Hi, you're on the air.
Yeah, hey, good morning, guys. Ron Wood, how you doing?
Hey, Ron. Good.
Ronnie.
Hey, you're talking about that field goal. It didn't go in. It was wide left. I looked at it all different camera angles. There's no doubt in my mind, or in God's mind, that thing was wide left.
I still don't understand if that game was fixed so that they win that game or what the story was, but that field goal was not
Oh,
good.
that game was fixed.
Not
It's
good.
one of the games that was fixed.
Yeah.
I've
No,
always
they
contended.
didn't have instant replay, and they only had one angle, but you could easily tell that the ball was on its way down
It
and
sure
didn't
looked
go above the upright. So it was on its way down about 2 feet, and you could see the shadow. There was no shadow, so it was outside, no doubt.
Well, I had thought it was fairly close, and I had thought if the goalpost had been extended a little bit higher, it would have hit the goalpost and shot off to the side. It would not have gone through.
Right. Hey, as far as this draft is concerned, I think the way they need to do it this year, and I hope that's the way they're going, is set the table up before you start thinking about a quarterback. You know, too many times they've drafted quarterbacks and thinking that that's going to be the answer to everything, you know, and we're going to go, you know, far in the playoffs, and then, you know, it never happens. Like you mentioned, you know, all these cats that have come and gone, they didn't have a team to work with.
No.
And I like Watkins. I like Watkins at number 4. If he's not there at number 4, you've got to understand that you've got to wait until the very last minute. Whoever's picking 3 is at Jacksonville.
Right.
Okay, you've got to wait till almost the last minute, possibly, to find out what move you're going to make.
That's right.
So you got to have contingencies, and I'll tell you, my players in the barrel, not possibly at number 4, but are Khalil Mack, Jake Matthews, and I also like Chris Borland, the inside linebacker from Wisconsin.
Chris Borland, I don't believe that they're rating him as the number 4 pick, but he is somebody that could be considered down at 26 or 35. I like Chris Borland too. He's a little on the short side like Shazier, but he plays with a lot of intensity. I like Borland a lot.
Oh yeah, I'm not talking about the pick, the first
Okay.
pick.
Okay.
I'm talking about, you know, maybe not even in the first round. And now if Watkins is not available, you know, and Mack is not available, there is a possibility of talking trading back.
Yes. The thing with trading down, though, is you got to find somebody who's willing to trade with you to go back up. And I don't think the Browns want to fall too far. Maybe I don't even think they want to go out of the top 10 because you can still get a great impact player at 10.
It's the last team that's in line for a possibility of a trade.
Who was that? Who did he say?
Detroit.
Yes, they're number 10.
Yeah.
Now I agree with you. If Watkins and Mack aren't there, I think they're going to try to trade back.
But you got plenty of quarterbacks that are in the mix. So I don't think they should have much of a problem in picking one up. And a lot of these people, they're getting all nervous and everything when you know, Vince Young and Think Ben and all them guys. Hey, they're just rolls of the dice.
No, that's exactly
they're
right.
trying to figure out maybe these guys might work in the system and maybe they won't. You know, so it's no.
I think they brought those 2 guys in to be able to throw passes during training camp so that Hoyer's not throwing all the passes.
Yeah, right. Well, I think that I'm hoping the best for Hoyer.
Yeah, so am I.
And then we won't have to be talking about this anymore.
Right.
Well, tomorrow's the big day, so we'll know tomorrow night who we have.
Yeah, I know. Well, the best of luck to us.
Okay, that's right.
Thanks,
All right,
Ronnie.
see you later.
Take care.
Bye, Ron.
Ed, I want to thank you so much.
Yeah,
it was
it's
really
been fun.
fun.
Okay.
It was a lot of fun.
Enjoyed it. Yeah,
really enjoyed that.